What's going on, everybody? Esri Rozier here. It's been a very interesting couple of days since the Monday night meltdown in Seattle. Jalen Hurts making the comment that the team isn't committed enough. AJ Brown going at it with Lord Brunson on Twitter. But the most interesting development came from Nick Sirianni. It sounds like we all owe Brian Johnson an apology. All season long, we've been fuming at Brian Johnson for the terrible offensive play calling, but then Nick Sirianni comes out and says that it's his offense. It should be him getting the blame. It's him that's calling these whack plays. And with that being said, Brian Johnson, I apologize for everything I've said about you. And Nick Sirianni, so I'm hearing from some corners that Nick Sirianni should be fired, and I think that's ridiculous. With all due respect, Nick Sirianni has an incredible record as Eagles head coach. He took us to the Super Bowl last year. Nick Sirianni, he doesn't deserve to be fired. But what I will say is that Nick Sirianni, you need to relinquish play calling duties. You got to give up play calling duties. If you guys remember, 2 seasons ago, 2021, we got destroyed by the Raiders in Las Vegas. We fell to 2-5. It was our worst start to a season since 1999 when Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb showed up. I was born that year. And after that game, Nick Sirianni relegated play calling duties to Shane Steichen. And then our season completely turned around after that. We finished 9-8. We made it to the playoffs, and we were blown out by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it was a successful season after a terrible start where we were 2-5. The way I see it, this offense right now, it reminds me of that early 2021 Eagles offense. Like, our offense right now is terrible. It's terrible right now. This game in Seattle, I'm not mad at the defense. I know a lot of people are taking shots at Matt Patricia, saying, oh, it's Matt Patricia's defense. Oh, the Eagles' defense got gashed. For a large portion of this game, the Eagles' defense played very well. Now, the run defense got trampled by Kenneth Walker, but in general, overall, against the run and the pass, I think the defense played well enough for us to win this game. When I look at why we lost this game, I look at Jalen Hurts throwing those 2 deep bombs when they were completely unnecessary, and James Bradberry. I'm not going to throw the whole defense under the bus because of one player, James Bradberry, getting abused on that final drive. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. James Bradberry has become a serious liability for us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm at the point where I almost want to see Bradberry get benched. I think we need to bench James Bradberry. It's gotten that bad. Eli Ricks and Ringo were playing better than James Bradberry. I'd rather see these young guys, these rookies, make rookie mistakes and learn than to see Bradberry, an experienced vet, continue to get picked on week after week. It's not just this Seattle game. It's been all year. It's been all year with James Bradberry getting torched. I don't know what's going on. Last year, he was a Pro Bowl caliber corner. And then, of course, we all remember the Super Bowl. He gets called for that play on 3rd and 8, the pass interference at the end of the game, basically ends the game for Kansas City to win. He has not been the same this year. He has not been the same. James Bradberry and Jalen Hurts throwing those 2 deep shots. Why does Hurts keep doing that? I really got to know why. It wasn't just this Seattle game. That's been an issue all year. Jalen Hurts has gone for these deep shots when it's been unnecessary. It's happened in several games. I keep going back to that Washington game in week 4 where we were down. We were trailing in that game late. Jalen Hurts throws a deep bomb to A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown catches it for a touchdown to give us the lead. But Hurts threw that bomb with so much time left that Washington went right down the field, and Sam Howell, he sends the game to overtime with a touchdown pass to Dotson, 2 seconds left on the clock. All you needed was to keep moving the ball, convert the first down, and kick a field goal. You didn't need that deep shot. You did not need that deep shot. The reason why that game went to overtime is because you got greedy with the deep shot, and Washington had enough time to respond that's exactly what they did, and Sam Howell took the game to overtime. And then that's what happened with the Seattle game. The first interception, you were running the ball very well. You were at like the 45-yard line. He throws that deep ball, and I admit it should have been pass interference. It should have been pass interference by Julian Love against Quez Watkins. But you know what? You're not always going to get those calls. You're not always going to get those calls. I mean, you had to play against the Buffalo Bills where Darius Slay got away with pass interference against Stephon Diggs in overtime. We should have been called for pass interference on that play, but we didn't. Sometimes you get the calls, sometimes you don't. And the second interception, that was just the Eagles trying to draw a penalty. I hate that decision. You just needed 13 yards for field goal range. You needed 13 yards for field goal range, and then Hurts throws this deep ball. You didn't need to do that. You did not need to do that. Work the sidelines. You don't need to go deep like that. New England tried, not New England, Pittsburgh tried that on Thursday night a few weeks ago against the Patriots on a 4th and 2. Trubisky throws a deep trying to draw a flag. I hate that play call. I hate this philosophy to go deep in like a desperate situation to try and draw a flag. That is such a dumb play to make with a game on the line. Because you're not always going to get those calls. You're not. Those were just two extremely poor decisions by Jalen Hurts. But is it more so? I don't know who to blame more. Is it more on Jalen Hurts or is it more on the offensive play calling? I don't know who to blame more. This game, man, like you lost to the Seahawks for the 8th time in a row. Why can't we beat Seattle, man? Is there like an 11th commandment that says the Eagles must always lose to the Seahawks? Is it an unwritten rule that we always have to lose to the Seahawks? We just cannot beat this team. And I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of losing to the Seahawks. Even the 2017 Eagles, the Eagles team that won the Super Bowl in 2017, that team got smoked in Seattle. They went over there on Sunday Night Football and they lost like 24-10. Even the 2017 Eagles couldn't get past the Seahawks. It's like that team, they just know how to beat us no matter what. No matter what. And it's not just Pete Carroll, even though like Pete Carroll has an 8-0 record against the Eagles. It's not just Pete Carroll. Our struggles against the Seahawks goes back a long time. A long time. I keep, and I said this in a video yesterday. Do you know when the last time the Eagles beat the Seahawks at home in Philadelphia? 1989. That was Veterans Stadium. That wasn't Lincoln Financial Field. That was Veterans Stadium. The Seahawks have routinely dominated the Eagles. They've routinely dominated. 1998 season opener, the 3-13 year with Ray Rhodes. Seahawks come to Philadelphia. They win like 34-0. 2005, the Reggie White tribute game. Seahawks come to Philadelphia, and as we're honoring Reggie White, they beat us 42-0 in a snowstorm. Sean Alexander goes off. It's like this team, I don't know what the Seahawks have on us. What do they have on us? This was the time you would break that. This was the time to break that losing streak. It should have ended at 7. You had them. You were ahead for like 99% of this game. And then you let a backup quarterback beat you. It wasn't Geno Smith out there. It was Drew Lock, the guy that got kicked out of Denver, the guy that got exiled from the Broncos. You let Drew Lock beat you with 28 seconds left on the clock. That cannot happen, man. And you lost to a backup quarterback for the second time this year. For the second time this year, you lost to a backup quarterback. And that reminds me, that New York Jets game is really starting to haunt us now. You can't lose to the New York Jets, man. That's the game I really wish we could repeat. I really wish we could have that game back. Because you were up 14-3 at halftime, and you didn't score a single point in the second half. We had 4 turnovers in that game. It was the Jets defense that beat us, but you lost to a team with Zach Wilson at quarterback. That can't happen, man. That's the game that really looms large right now. Above everything else, like when we lost to the Seahawks, I was heartbroken, but I wasn't surprised because it's the Seahawks. They've beaten us 7 times in a row before this. I know how bad we are against the Seahawks, so it didn't surprise me. But that Jets game, when this schedule came out, nobody looked at that Jets game and said, oh, you could lose this game. Nobody had us losing that game. That's the game that's really, really haunting us right now. When I look at this race for the number 1 seed and how the Niners are basically guaranteed to get it at this point, that Jets game is the one that stands out to me right now. That game, you can't lose that game up 14-3 at halftime and then not do anything in the second half. You can't. But guys, Even though we've lost 3 in a row after a 10-1 start to fall to 10-4, we still control our own destiny for the division. We may not get the number one seed, that is basically over, but you still control your destiny to get the NFC East. Because the Eagles, if we win out, we take the NFC East. It doesn't matter what the Cowboys do, even if the Cowboys win out. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to win out. I think they're going to lose one of these next two. They're going to lose to either the Dolphins or the Detroit Lions. And if I had to pick one, I would say that they're going to lose to the Miami Dolphins. They have to go to Miami to play that high flying defense. I don't think the Cowboys are beating the Dolphins. And even though I think they could also lose to Detroit, it's likely that they win that one since it's at home. They'll be at AT&T Stadium, and the Cowboys are undefeated at AT&T Stadium. They're tough to beat when it comes to these home games. I do believe that the Dolphins will beat the Cowboys this week. But the Eagles, I'm just hoping that we don't check out. Yeah, we've lost 3 in a row. Things are going very badly, but you still control your own destiny, guys. The season is not over. You still got to play the New York Giants twice. You got 2 games against the New York Giants. You got to play the Arizona Cardinals. 2 of these 3 games are at home. The Giants game on Christmas this week and the Cardinals. These next 2 games are at home. The Giants, if there's one team that I know the Eagles can always beat no matter how bad we are, it's the New York Giants. We own the Giants. The Giants, they have lost to the Eagles every season since 2007. The Giants have not swept the Eagles since 2007 when they won the Super Bowl against the undefeated New England Patriots. We own the Giants. That's the one team, no matter how bad we are, we will always beat the Giants. 2020, we sucked. We beat the Giants on Thursday night. 2019, when we were 5-7, we got 2 wins against the Giants late in that season to turn it around and clinch an NFC East title to make the playoffs. The Giants are the exact team you want to play right now in this situation. When you're flaming out, you've lost 3 in a row. This is the team you want to play, the New York Giants. You guys got to be frustrated right now. It's boiling over. AJ Brown's getting upset. Jalen Hurts is disgruntled. Nick Sirianni, he's annoyed. Like, take your anger out on the New York Giants. And then after that, you got the Arizona Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon coming back to town. Jonathan Gannon is the reason we lost the Super Bowl last year. You're up 24-14 at halftime, and your defense doesn't get a single stop in the second half. That's on the defense. I blame Jonathan Gannon for that loss last year in the Super Bowl. Jonathan Gannon is the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals now. Make him pay. Show him how angry you are at him for blowing that Super Bowl. The fact that he was checked out because he took an interview with the Arizona Cardinals the week before the Super Bowl. He probably wasn't even focused on the Super Bowl. He's just thinking about his next head coaching gig. The season is not over, guys. You could win the NFC East, and more importantly, you can end this 19-year drought of not having a repeat NFC East winner. The last team to win consecutive NFC East titles, it was the Eagles from 2001 to 2004. 2004, the season when we made it to Super Bowl 39 and we lost to the New England Patriots. There hasn't been a repeat NFC East winner since 2004, the Philadelphia Eagles. And we could snap that streak. We could win consecutive division titles. It's still all in front of us. And once you win your division, you are guaranteed at least one home game. That's important. That home game is important. We've only lost one home game this year. Only one, against the San Francisco 49ers. This season is not over. Just remember, you can win the NFC East. You can win the NFC East if you just win out. That's all you got to do. It doesn't matter what Cowboys do. Even if the Cowboys win out, you still take the NFC East. I don't think the Cowboys are going to win out, but that's how good this situation is for us. Even if they win out, you still control your own destiny by you winning out. That's all we got to do. Take your anger out on the New York Giants this week. They have Tommy DeVito at quarterback. The Giants don't really have a lot of offensive talent. Saquon Barkley is an issue because the Eagles' run defense has been getting trampled as of lately. What did that guy Kenneth Walker have? I think he had over like 100 yards on Monday night. The run defense concerns me, but I don't fear the Giants' receivers. I don't fear the Giants' wide receivers, their passing game. It's Saquon Barkley. That's what I'm nervous about. But we should be able to handle the New York Giants at home on Christmas Day. We should be able to handle them. So take care, everybody, and go Birds.